2009 International Council of Air Shows Convention in Las Vegas, Nevada, we had the opportunity to spend some really quality time with a number of the air show professionals here. Question number 3, what's the perfect loop? And we left it up to them to be technical, ethereal, philosophical, you name it, but check out these answers.
Well, you have to start out with your watch in the lead. You know, the perfect loop in a glider with wingtip smoke is one where, regardless of the shape of the loop, it might look like a script L, but if I cut my own smoke on the way back down, the crowd oohs and ahs and they think it's perfect. So it may not be perfectly round, but as I'm coming over the top, I'm looking for the smoke trails and trying to stick the nose right between them.
Well, round, right? A loop by definition is round. Lots of smoke, lots of noise, and the ability to make it look good and come out at the same place you started. Otherwise, it's a letter E.
There's no such thing as a perfect loop. There's too many variables in a loop: winds, airplane, speeds, pull, how you feel that day. No, there's no way. You know what? They all say people are just amazed that airplanes fly. You go in and do your best, hit the numbers like you want to, see what happens.
Practice, 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 and get a lot of critiquing and coaching. That's really all I can say on that. That's what I did.
The perfect loop is difficult to do. You know, if you fly, the first half of the loop is in fact perfect. As long as you don't segment it, it's going to be perfect. You've got this. But the trick is getting the second half of the loop perfect, and that is almost next to impossible. I came out of the IC, International Aerobatic Club, and you know, the judges convinced me that I had never flown a perfect loop, you know, since I got involved in aerobatics. So it's very, very difficult to do, but it can be done. There's a few people in this room that I know have done it, but you know, it's such a basic maneuver, but to get it perfect is very, very, very difficult.
If you own a Cirrus today, or if you are considering the purchase of a new or used aircraft, consider this. Avidyne, in conjunction with the country's leading Cirrus sales and maintenance facilities, has launched the G3R9 program that combines the purchase of a late-model, low-time Cirrus aircraft and the addition of the Avidyne Integra Release 9 avionics suite for much less than you may have thought, and certainly much less than purchasing a brand new aircraft. G3R9, combining the best airframe, best engine, and best avionics for the best value.
A perfect loop? Well, first of all, a perfect air show loop is one you do successfully. Okay? If a person wants to be Sean Tucker, the next Sean Tucker, make sure that when you're dancing, that you're all out dancing. Don't hold anything back. Do it safely, but make sure you're dancing, that you've practiced your dance thousands upon thousands of times, and be proud of your dance. And also be humble enough to know that if the dance isn't working so good that day, just back it off a little bit. It's going to come, because I have never, well, actually I did. I flew one perfect flight in my whole career out of how many thousands of practices and performances and everything else. And so be patient.
Get a good start. Every maneuver starts off with the right airspeed at the altitude that you prefer to do it at. I prefer to start off with a pretty hard loop and start pulling G's, but make it big and round. I like big barnstormer loops because people get a chance to see it. And then when you get on top, sometimes you get a chance to do a couple, 3 snaps, a few other things to entertain them. What people don't like are long, boring maneuvers. They want to see you do something. So either make a real tight 7G loop or back it off and make a big loop with snap rolls on the top.
To me, a perfect loop is one that you fly into with the proper speed and you fly out of with the proper speed and altitude. It's not about making it perfectly symmetrical. That's a competition loop. Air show loop, not worried about that. I'm worried about being safe and letting people enjoy the show.
Get yourself plenty of altitude. You know, practice makes perfect. But frankly, you know, go to school, go through college and get a real job, and and forget about perfect loops.
Okay.
Cirrus Design's Vision SJ50 single-engine personal jet offers exceptional fuel efficiency, flexible seating for up to 7, advanced avionics, and all the Cirrus safety features you expect, including the Cirrus airframe parachute system. With its V-tail design, the Cirrus Vision is technologically advanced, yet engineered to be simple to fly, to allow owner pilots more lifestyle pursuits than any other personal aircraft. Learn more about the Vision SJ50 at cirrusdesign.com.
All right, the perfect loop is the one that you've practiced 1,000 times and you've positioned perfectly and everybody gets to see, but most importantly, the perfect loop is the one that you walk away from.
A perfect loop to me is pretty much coming out where you started, so you actually feel the burble of the air where you've been, and of course rounded on top and not oval, egg-shaped, in my opinion, is the perfect loop, and not getting too slow on top.
It's not an aerobatic contest loop. Doesn't have to be round. It just has to be what it does, and an airshow pilot can get away with a lot of different kinds of loops. The main thing is don't stall on top if you don't want to, but oval to me, oval shape or egg shape doesn't matter a damn, because and lines and angles for airshow pilots don't matter a damn, because nobody's grading your 45-degree angle or your perfect up. You can get away with a lot of things to keep it safe. So showmanship is much more important than lines and angles. The perfect loop for an airshow pilot is starting at a reasonable G, don't lose energy, and come out a little higher than you started.
Well, first of all, you have to be a pretty good illusionist because it doesn't exist. However, to get as close as you want to get, practice, 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 get good ground critique. What it looks like and feels like inside of the cockpit doesn't mean a thing. What does it look like from the audience perspective? And you need somebody with a good eye, good experience to be on the radio and help coach you through that. And someday you might get close, but you'll never nail it.